Tash and welcome back to Taste Like Home. Today we're going to learn how to make fried rice. I love fried rice because it's a great snack to have on the go as a side dish and can be made with leftover ingredients in your fridge. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, so to make our fried rice today, we're going to use the following ingredients. We've got over here, we've got our spring onions. We're using about 3/4 of a cup. I have got my ends separated. I'm using about 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. I've got about 120 grams of bacon, 1.5 cups of frozen vegetables. Over here I've got 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I've got some chicken stock powder over here. I've also got some white pepper and about half an onion diced. I'm using 3 eggs today for my recipe, and I'm also going to be using a packet of jasmine rice. I love packet rice because it's so quick and easy, especially if you don't have time or a rice cooker at home. I also want to make a recipe note about this recipe that using fresh rice, if you are, is not preferred as it can get a bit sticky, but it can easily combated by cooling it down for as long as you can and making sure that your pan is nice and hot when frying it. Let's do this. Okay, now to get started today, we're going to pre-mix our sauce ingredients together so that when we do have the rice on, everything's ready to go. So I'm going to get my soy sauce and pour that in. I'm going to get my water, about 1 tablespoon of water. I'm going to get my oyster sauce. This one's a bit thicker, so it's going to take a little bit more to get out. You might want to get a spoon to scrape it. And we're also going to get our spices as well. So I've got my white pepper, and my chicken stock powder. You can also use vegetable stock as well if you want a meat-free option. I'm not going to worry too much about that. And what we're going to do is, we're going to mix that all together and try and get all of the stock powder and the white pepper mixed in. If you need to use a bit more water, you can use a bit more water to get it mixed. Even hot water might dissolve it a bit easier. And then once you've got that ready, we've got our sauce ready to be added to our fried rice. Okay, so after we've done our sauce, the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we've got a nicely oiled pan and that's nice and hot. We want to have a medium to high heat for this one. So our first step is while that's heating up and getting nice and hot and well oiled, if you don't have a non-stick pan, make sure that you oil it maybe a little bit more because you don't want your eggs sticking to the pan. So now we're going to crack our 3 eggs into a bowl. If you get the egg yolk into the bowl, don't stress. There's a good tip to get it out. You can always use half your shell and scoop it out without touching your eggs. So we're going to crack all 3 into there. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper in just for flavour. And just like that, we're just going to whisk that up. And that is going to be the egg that we use for our fried rice. So once we're done mixing all that together, we want to make sure all our yolks are properly mixed through. Our pan is nice and hot and oiled. From there, we're just going to pour our egg mixture onto our pan. And hear the sizzle. It's a good sign. Very good sign. So then from there, I'm going to get my spatula, I'm going to move it around. You just want to move your egg around the pan. So, because we're going to be cutting it up afterwards, it doesn't need to be perfect looking. So you just want to move it around the pan, scramble it. This is how we scramble, just constantly kind of push it around the pan, making sure that everything is well cooked. So for a fried rice, we want to make sure that it's not a soft scrambled egg, we want to make sure it's a hard scrambled. We don't want any uncooked egg left. So this is what it's going to look like after you've well scrambled it. We want to break it up, make sure there's no runny yolk in there left. And at about this stage, that's when we're going to take it off heat and we're going to put it to the side to be added to our fried rice after. Okay, so after we've gotten our egg off, we want to make sure that our pan's nice and clean. We've gotten all the remaining egg off that didn't come off. We're going to re-spray our pan, or if you've got any other oil, just drizzle a little bit of oil on there. We're going to add our onion on first, and this is over a medium to high heat. We haven't changed the heat left in on our pan. I'm also going to be this stage, you want to be spreading that around. So we're going to be at this stage cooking our onion for about 2 minutes or so. Before adding the bacon, we want to make sure that our onion gets a bit cooked off first and it's not so raw. And by adding the garlic in at this stage, we're letting the flavour really get in there and to activate as the garlic cooks with the onion. Okay, so at this stage, my onion's a bit more cooked. You can see that it's a bit more clear, it's starting to brown. I can smell that garlic coming through. So at this stage is when you want to add your bacon. I have already gone and cooked my bacon ahead of the recipe, but at this stage is perfect for when you do add your bacon. You want your onion to be properly cooked, and you'll be hearing that bacon really sizzle. Bacon, depending on the cut of bacon that you are using as well, if you've got a particularly fatty cut, whether it's a middle bacon piece or not, you won't really need a lot of oil in your pan. You'll definitely be hearing that sizzle when you put it through. At this stage is when you want to be letting your bacon cook and get to that crispy stage. You don't want it to be too crispy because it'll still be cooking with everything else that's in the pan. Your bacon and your onion looking like this. You've got your bacon starting to look nice and crunchy, nice and crispy, and then you've got your onion getting cooked throughout, nice and clear. That's when we want to add our frozen vegetables in. And it's okay to have frozen vegetables. They do defrost in the pan and cook off. So when you put these in, you probably will hear the ice on the pan reacting with the oil. Don't be scared, that's okay. So we're going to let our vegetables cook with our bacon and our onion for about 2 minutes or until they're nice and soft and cooked through. Alright, so now once we've had our vegetables cooking for about 2 minutes, we can see all the water and the ice has evaporated, it's starting to get cooked through. This is when we want to add our rice and our sauce ingredients. So it'd probably be easier to add your sauce in first when you've got less going on in the pan. So I'm going to try and spread that around, add as much as I can. If you even want to, you can also get a little bit of water and mix it around your bowl so you're getting all your sauce ingredients out of it. You can mix that through. And then I've also got my rice. I've taken it out of the fridge. So I cooked it about 20 minutes ago and I've got it on a baking tray. If you don't have a baking tray at home now, you can just put it on as big of a plate as you can. And you want to spread it out just like that because you want to make sure that you're letting some of that moisture evaporate so it's not so sticky. And that's what the secret to a great fried rice is, having the rice not so sticky. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get our spatula. I'm going to scrape our rice into there. And what we want to do is we want to cook it, the sauce ingredients, for at least 2 minutes. And this is where the rice becomes the fried rice. Taking note, I've also got baking paper on my baking tray, so that doesn't stick to your baking tray. You never know what you might have left over on that one. Alright, so once we mix all that together, what I'm also going to do is, my egg that's been sitting on the side has cooled, and while that is mixing and cooking all together, I'm also going to go and cut up my egg into small little bits and add it into my rice once this is all mixed together. Okay. I'll let that cook. With a knife and fork. You can cut it up into as small as pieces as you want, or as big. And that's why I want to make sure all of our egg is nice and cooked as well. If you have a gooey egg, it will cook off into the fried rice, but you don't want to risk anyone getting sick. You want nice and cooked rice. Egg, I should say egg. Alright, so once that's all chopped up, ready to go, I'm going to let that cook together for about 2 minutes, and then I'll add it all in. And our fried rice will nearly be done. Okay, so at this stage I've been letting my rice cook together with all the remaining ingredients in the sauce. As you can see, my sauce is nicely cooked throughout. So at this stage I'm going to get my chopped up egg and I'm going to pop it in there. And because everything is cooked, You don't really need to let it cook for too much longer. At this stage is the fun part, it's the serving part. So once you mix everything in, your fried rice is ready. And that, just like that is how easy it is to make fried rice. As I said, it could be a great side dish, great snack on the go, and a great meal. It is very filling. If you want to add tofu, add chicken, add different types of protein, it can be a very filling meal, and with the egg as well, full of protein. So my favourite stage, I'm going to turn off my heat, and I'm going to get serving. And I know that I've got my amazing practice leads up here as my boss around. Brooke, would you like to come and try my fried rice?
I would love to.
And she's got her fork ready. There you go.
Thank you. This
I
looks
hope you like
delicious.
it. It does. Thank you.
Perfect. Good work.
I do say so myself.